Spain has produced a new wave of mainstream football stars, but the interesting part is not only the highlight reel. It is the tiny details that explain why people watch them so closely. This video uses generic copyright-safe football visuals only: training grounds, boots, stadium lights, pitches, fans, goalkeeping drills, and football equipment. No broadcast footage, no official logos, and no claim of using exact player likenesses.
Curiosity 1 is Lamine Yamal.
The public story around him is shaped by age, but reducing him to a young star headline misses the football point. What makes people watch him differently is how early he forced defenders to treat him as a real decision problem. When a winger can receive wide, pause, accelerate, combine, or cut inside, the defender is not just reacting to speed. The defender is trying to guess which version of the same player is arriving. That uncertainty is why young attackers can feel bigger than their minutes.
Curiosity 2 is that the attention around Yamal also says something about modern football culture. Fans no longer wait years before forming opinions.
Clips, data, tactical threads, and short videos compress a career into constant debate. For a young player, that can make every touch feel like evidence. The cautious way to say it is simple: he is a highly watched young talent, and the football world tends to turn that kind of player into a symbol very quickly.
Curiosity 3 is Marc Cucurella. Casual viewers often notice the hair first, then the running, then the intensity. But the football curiosity is the role behind the image.
Cucurella became a recognizable figure because he fits a modern defensive profile: aggressive pressing, fast recovery runs, willingness to defend wide spaces, and enough energy to keep appearing in uncomfortable zones.
Fullbacks and wide defenders used to be judged mainly by crosses, tackles, and whether they stayed in position.
Now they are judged by how they survive chaos.
Cucurella is interesting because his public image matches that: chaos, restless, visible, constantly involved. Curiosity 4 is Unai Simon.
Goalkeepers are usually remembered for the loudest moment: the save, the mistake, the penalty, the camera close-up after pressure.
But the curiosity around Simon is temperament. A modern goalkeeper for Spain is not only a shot stopper.
He has to be part of the build-up, accept risk with the ball, and still look calm when one bad pass becomes a national talking point. That is a difficult job psychologically.
Outfield players can hide inside movement. A goalkeeper stands alone in the frame. The best ones do not remove risk. They manage it without letting the previous action poison the next one. Curiosity 5 is Pedro Porro and the modern fullback problem. The phrase defender is not enough anymore.
A player like Porro is often discussed through attacking output, forward runs, crossing zones, set-piece delivery, and how he helps a team progress the ball.
That tells you what has changed. The fullback is no longer just the player who stops a winger.
In many systems, the fullback becomes a passer, runner, auxiliary midfielder, wing support, or final third creator depending on the phase of play.
That creates a strange public debate. If a fullback attacks well, people ask whether he defends enough. If he defends conservatively, people ask why he does not create more.
The role has become a contradiction, and that is why modern fullbacks are so interesting.
Curiosity 6 is Pedri.
The easy description is midfielder with technical quality, but the better curiosity is rhythm.
Some midfielders look fast because they sprint. Pedri often looks fast because the ball leaves before pressure fully arrives.
That is a different kind of speed, timing, orientation, and choosing the simple action early enough that it becomes dangerous.
Curiosity 7 is Nico Williams.
Wide players are often judged by dribbles, but the curiosity is the pressure they create before touching the ball. When a winger threatens depth in 1-versus-1 situations, the defensive line has to make room for that possibility.
A defender may drop half a step earlier.
A midfielder may shade wider. A center-back may hesitate before stepping out.
That invisible adjustment can open space for teammates.
The best wide threats do not only beat players. They bend the shape of the opponent.
Curiosity 8 is Rodri.
Defensive midfielders are sometimes invisible when they are doing the job correctly.
That is the trick.
The mainstream reputation around Rodri is tied to control, positioning, passing security, duel management, and the ability to make a team feel less rushed.
The curiosity is that control rarely looks viral.
A spectacular dribble gets clipped. A midfielder standing in exactly the right space may prevent the whole dangerous transition from existing. That is harder to notice, but it may matter more. In football, some of the most valuable actions are the ones that stop panic before it becomes visible.
Curiosity 9 is Dani Olmo.
He represents the kind of attacker who can be hard to label cleanly.
Is he a midfielder, a winger, a second striker, a connector, a runner between lines? Depending on the match, the answer can change.
That flexibility is useful, but it also makes public discussion messy.
Fans often want one fixed label.
Coaches often want a player who solves several problems without needing the whole system rebuilt around him.
Olmo is interesting because his value often lives in those spaces between definitions. Curiosity 10 is Alvaro Morata. Strikers carry one of the cruelest public jobs in football.
Their work can include pressing, dragging center backs, linking play, making repeated runs, and occupying space for others. But if the chance goes wide, much of that work disappears from the conversation. The curiosity around Morata is how sharply striker perception can swing. A forward can play a useful tactical game and still be judged by one moment.
That does not mean finishing is unimportant.
It means the striker role is emotionally unfair in a very specific way. The visible ending often overwrites the invisible work that created the chance. The bigger curiosity across mainstream Spain players is that each one shows how football roles have become more complex.
The young winger is not just a prospect. He is a tactical problem and a media story. The energetic defender is not just a fullback.
He is a pressing trigger, recovery runner, and fan symbol.
The goalkeeper is not just a saver of shots.
He is a decision maker under isolation.
The attacking fullback is not just a defender.
He is part of chance creation.
The controller in midfield is not just passing sideways.
He is managing the temperature of the match.
That is why generic visuals are enough for this kind of video.
The point is not to pretend we have special player footage. The point is to understand what people miss while watching the game. Modern football makes stars through highlights, but it also hides value in positioning, timing, risk, and role difficulty. The biggest Spain names are interesting because they sit at that intersection, public attention on one side, tactical detail on the other. The next time someone talks only about age, hair, saves, assists, or missed chances, look one layer deeper. That is usually where the real curiosity is.